I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe they play pressure off, and it can be difficult. They have a lot of players, I think, that perform quite well when the pressure is off. Meanwhile, Heroic looking to keep it rolling, and you know, they don't need the world-ending performance in this group and into the playoffs if they can make it there. However, it would be nice, of course, to keep these teams at bay.
Yeah, got to imagine that for the Heroic side, being able to know you've done very well in head-to-heads in the past against Complexity is going to be that leg up. The last head-to-head was actually in the Flashpoint RMR, so something to think about there as well. Yeah, fast play coming out for Complexity. A lot of noise being made out to this ramp position. KD on first contact, doesn't find anything, so falls away.
Simple stuff again. Molotov in towards the conventional areas, the boost box, and over at Sandbags. Flash comes over the top, though, for Heroic to work with. Cadian only good for the one. At the very least, he's got the information in, right? And able to create a little bit of space. Bomb's going to go down. No kit available. We do have a smoke and a flash to work with here in the hands of Tesses. Time going to be working against them. It very weirdly, you know, comes to a standstill after it being so chaotic for so long. Heroic gave up that site very, very quickly, and we'll see indeed whether they can retake it cleanly. They're going to try, I guess, and get someone on the bomb early and just go for the hold. It's an early tap, actually. No hold as yet. Forcing the peeks in, and well, it might just be the right idea because everybody's chiming in for the kills. Tank with the knife out can't find the frags he was after, and it will be a little tight. But they should get the defuse in. Ooh, you know, that's awfully close. That's a lot closer than I thought it would be. That red bar, it's a little deceiving, isn't it?
Oh, yes. I was listening to the bomb sound and thinking, geez, this is going to be close. And indeed it was. Heroic getting the job done. Complexity probably quite miffed at that one. When you think about the way they got it into a 4v4 post plant, a lot of time wasting going on. Some great connections out from Tessa, Shush, and Stan. Kadeen even getting into the mix there. Complexity going to be forcing it up. A lot of Galils coming forward into the second round for them.
To be fair. No AK. No AK. But yeah, it seems maybe definitely on Vertigo, I think, as well. Because you have this pressure across the board. Getting these rifles out, of course, really going to be important. And they do so in pretty key round, to be honest with you.
Charge out B stairs, perhaps. Contact play. Got the one player Shush to defend. And he does have the M4, doesn't have any util. So halting the play from the T side is actually going to be a lot more difficult than they might expect.
Yeah, really, really slow. Really, really slow. However, in comes the burst. The flash is not good for the back of the site, but Shushi does overstep. Poison rips his head clean off. And some deep smokes here, but you can see he's down. He's confident. He's got the scope to work with as well, and this is a perfect angle. In for one, dips out. No, bomb going to go down, but they go flying on through straight into the meat grinder, and it looks like it's all going to fall apart, but no. Tesses, the chaos that was created by his teammates was enough to work with. I don't know whether I'm the biggest fan of, you know, flash and go, but they make it work.
Well, they catch them off guard. Blamehouse really the only one that is able to adjust for it. Poison with a couple of kills. And you'd have to expect another buy to be on the table. Lost bonus starting to kick in further. Bomb plant, 4 kills, a lot of damage being done. Heroic having the man advantage and just moving forward. Blamehouse trying to do as much damage as possible. And just as soon as he moves back into the side, just offers up the individual jewels. Poison falling. Not quite the full-on force. I don't mind the hero AK investment. I would have liked maybe some more backing behind this round of a full force investment.
Yeah. I'm with you. But then we so often are, and like, you know, if you're the team in this scenario, the individual in this scenario, you've absolutely got to back yourself.
Yeah.
So, and why do we do the things that we do? Why do, you know, players continually force when you're playing pugs and all that? Because they believe in themselves. They don't care about no odds. It is an awkward little fight, but Tank with the trade at the very least.
Yeah, get the AK back. So that's the main one, is that even if he dies out into the open, if he gets a 1-for-1 trade, recover the rifle. Put it into somebody else's hands. Heroic. Not really pressing that much on this CT side at all. No ramp control being given up. Still playing quite defensive, and for Complexity, you'd have to imagine a walk-up ramp into this A site could be here for them.
Yeah, it's not out of the question a late contact play. But we still have some late nades. That nade doesn't quite meet the mark. The second one does ever so slightly. They are a bit off. Ooh, and Heroic, they've left the A-bomb site much more passive than maybe you would expect coming into the final 25 seconds. Molotov comes in to make life a bit awkward, but not really able to do anything as yet. The bomb's a little bit trapped, and Tessus is not missing right now. 6-0, by the way, hoping to keep that flawless. Coldzera has found Stown and will create space for Bomb to go down here, but a 2 versus 2, and of course all the CTs coming in together. Quick flank from behind is when they strike. Now on to Blame F. Deagle in hand, can't get it done.
Tessus is putting on a good show and being able to get another multi-frag, and he was a guy that I'm sure looking over at the Copenhagen Flames, enjoying what they're doing in this event, because he was bought out by them, wasn't he? Moved over, he was playing on Optic for a little bit, over to Copenhagen Flames, then joining up here with Heroic. And being able to put on a good show these opening few rounds. Complexity, the damage was there. They get a few kills, they get a bomb down, it's only a Hero AK investment, now the full rifles can come through.
Certainly do like to see an investment like this after some kind of dodgy ones in the early rounds, to be honest with you, Dweg. You know, some questionable choices maybe, but indeed continual bomb plants has made this possible, and it looks pretty good. No AWP out maybe is perhaps what Poison would be wanting, but he's got a pretty good AK on him. Definitely not one of the AWPers that we do see in some of these teams that are teetering on the very top level. They struggle with their AWPers. Less versatile than you'd like. Someone who is very versatile, though, is Mr. Coldzera, leading the charge, making it look easy. Will eventually go down, but the space he creates is massive, and now into a 4 versus 2. Bomb has yet to join them, but it might not even need to. Another double coming in from a different member of Col. That is a brute force round if ever I've seen it, but goodness me, that was amazing.
Yeah, Coldzera has been leading the fragging for Complexity, and this is his first ever LAN with the team. We only saw him play one event before, which was the Blast Groups event, and so far he's put on an average 1.16 rating in the 4 games he's played so far. Hasn't had a lot of time with the team as a stand-in, been here for what? Getting close to a month now. He's putting on some good numbers, looking to make it even more. Heroic, money broken. It's going to have to be an echo.
Yeah, I suppose that's the joy of having those continual rifles that we talked about. Flash comes in, S-Attack trying to stay alive. He will eventually go down, but surely, yeah, JKS holds the line. Still, any damage is good damage. You know, it's a $200 investment versus dropping 6K's worth of equipment of S-Attack. So there is that, you know, and they're very quickly, they don't waste much time, very quickly into the next rifle.
Yeah, Complexity have got to keep pressure on from the start. And we know that for them, a win puts them in a difficult position, honestly, because what they need to do if they want to try and get the major, they need to beat Heroic, hope Endpoint can be Movistar Riders, go into the OT decider matches, and then beat it from there. That's a lot going on the script.
Oh, Tessus with the final few bullets, able to find Blame F. There's the difficulty, of course, of that A1S. It's a lot quieter, a lot harder to track. And Blame F just kind of walks into it. Maybe the comm's a bit too busy for him to hear the tippity-tap sound next to him. Refresh. Throwing a flash up there, of course. You know, you've got the player at the back end of the site. Makes sense. You want them to have the flashes because they're not in the thick of it. Advantage for Heroic looking pretty solid. We'll see what Complexity can get done. Bit of damage, but nothing too substantial. Flash comes in, but immediately dealt with. Poison with the speedy turnaround takes out Tessus, and they have now lost their advantage, but they still do have 2 players sat in. Refresh with 1 and nearly a second. Meanwhile, Stown with the A1S. Again, those traces hard to follow here. Right-click nade. Molly can follow up in just a second. It will indeed. However, looking a little difficult for them with these smokes in the way. And, of course, no kit for the CT side. And now they're out of utility. All going to come down to the shots. Cadian finds his. Just a couple more, he says. Come on. It's going to be easy. Let's roll in together. Time ticking away, though, and we saw, of course, how close it came the last time we had a defuse on the A-bomb site. So, no time to waste. Got to get somebody on it. Got to get the tap on. I just don't think there's really enough time, especially if Cole don't give them anything to work with. Coldzera, difficult spray down, but he gets it done, and now it's just a case of defending, and Shush able to get that done. The defuse, will he get it? Oh, no! Not even half a second, I don't think. That's mad.
Yeah, no kit again. And that is sometimes what is the slight risk of slowing it down if you don't have a kit, is if you don't quite get onto that bomb straight away, it does make it difficult. Great defending to allow Cadian to get on and stick the 10-second. It just doesn't quite come through. And Complexity, they can count their lucky stars that happened, because that defuse was so close to coming in.
Yeah, nasty. I think they will be a little annoyed, a little kicking themselves. That's the way it goes, though, sometimes, man. Coldzera holding. If he lost that fight, round's over. So, game of inches so far. Cole really giving it their all. But we'll see here. Shush up on the boost, this AK that remains from the previous round, of course. First ball in this round. That's a bit of nade damage on both sides. However, S-Tag comes in with the spam when the tip of the head is. So that should be the round. No crazy shenanigans here. And indeed will be the case. Only sound, that B player on the way.
He's hoping for something. Create some magic. And try and just see if we can get a pick. Hold on to a rifle if it's possible. Doesn't seem so. Complexity getting their way onto 4. And honestly, probably one of the first times the entire day that we've had on the B stream that we've actually seen one of these games start off competitively. It's normally been, okay, it's one-sided from the start, there's a slight comeback, there's a way in. This has got all the goods to be quite the series.
It does. It certainly does. And although not a Dust 2, I do think that the Vertigo is a great equalizer, especially with these teams. Cole's T-side, it's aggressive, it's angry, it's certainly, I think, encompassing the feelings that this team will have right now with the general state of Complexity and, of course, their state within IEM Fall. So that's kind of cool, you know, nice little bit of story building for you. Double up setup on the heroic side, though. What do we reckon to this?
Oh, I don't mind it at all. We know that Stown does enjoy picking up the big green from time to time. It is a glass cannon, so has to be careful about the aggressive fights playing out from mid. Should get flashed off by S-Attack, so he'll have to force away. Not at all, doesn't get blinded.
All right. A little lucky for sure, but he's able to get the kill and he's out of there. He's miles away. You go for this mid control here on the Cole side of things. Again, a little rare, and you can see why. It leaves you very, very, very vulnerable. Refresh with the double spray down. And I think that's probably going to be the round. The bomb as well has been dropped, so the hand is forced of Complexity. Poison will try and get something here, and Refresh, oh, he's on the way. The flash doesn't quite land, but it's not the full committal. Meanwhile, Blame F has found himself behind enemy lines. Poison's got the right idea, but it's very, very tense at the moment of, like, I don't know where to go, don't know where to look, am I getting flanked out? And now he's going to step back in and probably Tessus.
All right, there's a way into the... I mean, there's time to work with. Poison's been caught off, so now it's pretty much all but over. Blame F's best chance is looking for some further damage, hoping to catch off a couple of individuals. Especially Orc looking into spawn rather than out in mid. Swing out wide does a lot of damage onto Shush. Can't deal with Tessus, so we see the tie-up coming through from Heroic, getting up to 4. A Refresh doing well from mid to get a couple of kills, and he was a guy that had... an interesting career, right? I think he made a name for himself very early on playing for Fragsters, and then everything after that just didn't quite find that same level of success. Played on Optic and Ambush, Copenhagen Flames, Existence, Mad Lions. Really wasn't until he joined up with Heroic that we started to see what we saw years ago.
Some cool stories, some really, really cool stories for these players. Across the board, to be fair. I think Cadian wins in that sense, you know. He's had,
yeah, played in North America as well.
Yeah. Oh, man. Rogue.
Yeah.
He was a bit of a caster at one point, bit of an analyst.
Yeah, that's where some of the Fiend guys were, weren't they? It was Victor and Bubble playing over there with him.
Mad. What a time. What a time. Winter Fox, do you remember those guys?
Oh, mate. Really rolling back the years. F was there, Lex, Anger. Oh, the boys. XP3.
I think they had like a league team, and it's when I was just getting into esports in general, so I did quite like Winter Fox as an all.
Even had an Australian lineup for a little bit, I remember, in some of the Pro League seasons.
Yep, I think that is correct. They tried their best, but they could not find the right home, you know, and, well, where are they now?
Well, this round's been quite slow, isn't it? Not really many early contacts out. Not interested that much other than just some util to the B stairs. And for Shush, he's decided to move forward and just think to himself, all right, take some map control away from the T's. Complexity grouping up quite heavy in mid.
They do like the mid play, man, and it's not very common, I have to be honest. We saw in the previous round. Why? They're going to go for it again, this time a little bit later. Nade not really finding the mark. And this time they're up much quicker, much less resistance. Still going to be tough, you know, refresh, perfect angle for him, even holds some out. Nobody else can follow up. Tessus instantly traded, but refresh, the hero of the round. 2 in, nearly 3. Should be enough for the rest of the team to work with.
Blame's got to try and find some space, open up, and even just getting legged by Katie and Nade coming forward. USP, he's struggling to find this pick. Eventually, it will be Shush in the back lines that comes up from ramp from the forklift over from B that finishes off the job. JKS now 1v3. Time is so low. He's got to try and get this bomb down, and even just gets caught out by Stan. Round being won, and lead being gained by Heroic.
Yep, able to wrestle it back. It has been a topsy-turvy few rounds, but looking pretty good in the past couple. Complexity, I think, therefore, needs to be careful that this doesn't start to run away from them, as it can do very quickly, especially with the way that they've been playing. Brute force, angry, aggressive, you know, that is a style. The one-track Gear 6 from the get-go can be very hard to replicate successfully, and indeed very hard to tweak. So we'll see whether they stick to that. Of course, in this round, not expecting the victory. Maybe a bit of damage in a bomb plant would be brilliant, but not an awful lot of anything. The AK stands out, of course.
Tessus, just trying to see if we can do some early chip damage in, and you're right about this AK, and it's probably in good hands, isn't it, going into the in-game leader of Blame F? Hoping that some early damage can be done, and opening pick out from ramp would be lovely. Tessus is maybe overstaying his welcome for too long here aggressively.
Yeah, maybe a little. He does get a couple, which was pretty nasty, but he gets traded out. And, of course, with Cadian going down a little earlier on, 3 versus 3 doesn't look terrible. AK is going to be retrieved, and M4A1S as well for coldzera. So, 3 on 3, and it's gone back to a little bit of a standstill, but Complexity looking very, very good right now.
Oh, the timing on the push forward for refresh could be everything. Because if he moves forward and JKS doesn't get the angle, that could be the bomb dropped.
Oh, awkward, but he gets both of them. They just can't peek into him. That looked like it was, you know, a disaster from refresh. He was a bit early, a bit late. His peak wasn't quite there. The timing was incredibly against him, but that slow fire rate, slightly higher damage, of course, now of the A1S. Difficult to get past. Easy to control. She shoots so well, does the A1S, and he even wraps back around to find coldzera.
That was such a sick recovery. That spray transfer for a couple of kills, because you're right. He's kind of out of position, fired too early, and you think to yourself, oh, this is where they're going to pick him up. That's where they're going to swing together, 1-for-1 trade him, and no, just doesn't happen at all. Heroic finding some comfortability, and now going back to those double orbs.
Yeah, I think certainly for me, this is where they found a bit of a turnaround within the first half, within Complexity staying hot on their heels. Thick and fast play is often countered by the orbs, right? So really, really well done in previous rounds with it. Whether they can continue it remains to be seen. Tessa's going to find the first through the smoke. Bit nasty. Down towards ramp there, I do believe. Nonetheless, oh, they don't check their angles. Shush with the double, and it's all onto coldzera all of a sudden.
Poor clearance coming out for Complexity. Someone needs to be jiggling or at least keeping eyes on that angle.
The flash was there, man.
Allow it. Yeah, exactly. Couldn't see anything. Just not cleared. Cold Zero doesn't find anything. And now this is probably where we start to see the separation, where we start to really see Heroic hammering down with these rounds, finding a lot of consistency. Because you're right, the util was there. The opening fight probably would have been won by JKS if that peak comes in straight away and he's looking to the left-hand side. Instead, they round the corner, they look right. They don't look left. Got to look both ways of the street, mate.
Indeed.
Yeah, left, right, left again.
Yep. There you go, to egg those. And of course, from the gamer rules, it goes all the way back to 2007, that wonderful change-up in Modern Warfare, the first one, the original. Check your corners. Stay frosty.
I don't know that one, mate.
Bro, it's the like, is it the first proper mission?
Right,
you do the little,
okay.
you know, run through the practice of the ship, and then when you're on the ship, you know, he keeps saying it, Captain Price, he keeps saying it, because it's all a bit secretive, you know, you've jumped in, you know, hey, what's going on? And he's like, check your corners, you know, every room you go into, he just says it, so. Because it's back in the day, isn't it, when they had, like, a nice little roll around of the comments that characters would say, not really that creative, just very default stuff, and it would keep repeating. So maybe that is a bit of an out there reference for some of the younger members of the audience, but I know it. And I know some of the other commentators might be pro mod, of course. They managed to get the bomb down here. Not getting the kills, however. It starts with that one nice deeg, but ooh, and another one for JKS. In towards back 90 can be a bit scary, but yeah, not going to get it done. Still, for a round like that from Complexity, you can always be happy. 2 kills, bomb plant, 6.
Do you know what I am really enjoying here from Heroic on the retakes? It's just, there was that one round where I think we both kind of took comment to it of just how pacey it was, right? The bomb went down, they flowed out to the B side. The last handful of retakes, they've really slowed it down. They've been patient, they've been trying to draw them out with the util, creating the fights that come to them, rather than being sort of on that aggressive approach. And I think that's what's leading to a lot of these round success. Complexity taking their second timeout. And Poison, early game, was starting to find some good entries. He was getting some trades off. Now we're starting to see him go quite quiet. I don't want to just blame him because everybody else on the team isn't really showing up. No one's got to double digits just yet from them.
Yeah, that is true. You don't like to point the fingers, but... And indeed, not being as warm as they would like here on Vertigo is really going to start to affect Complexity moving forwards. And it might be something that they look back on. And especially at the moment, I think you probably, with the way the team is, you look at some of the very basic metrics and you're like, oh, not fragging, not getting the kills. That's probably the root of our problem at the moment. So it can be difficult, I think, from a mental standpoint as well.
JKS thinking about a lurk play. See if they can open up on B, get that molly down early. Try and see if they can force an opening fight onto Shush. Moving quite far forward. He doesn't have a lot of support on this.
No, not at all. Shush, however, will be able to find the kill onto JKS. A little bit of a strange one for both players, and I suppose an unorthodox position being taken to the advantage.
JKS is just trying to create an opportunity, isn't he? Just a walkout, trying to see if they can catch them sleeping. And even off the off angle, Shush is able to respond. No trade comes back. No one was in position to back up JKS in case he fell. A Heroic, another sort of man advantage situation for them to work with. And they're ranked 3rd in the entire event script for winning those 5v4 situations 81.1% of the time so far in this tournament. Excluding this game, of course, because it's live.
Well, yes. I was going to say I would absolutely expect nothing less from Danish Counter-Strike.
Oh, yeah, right.
So, does make a lot of sense. And, of course, they continue the trend here as Sheesh finds another. Looking very, very good indeed. Complexity going to try and go for the late burst in towards B. I mean, it's one of your more vulnerable sites, but Stoun's here with that secondary orb. It's just frightening. 15 seconds, boys. No time to call it off now. Cold Zero's like, all right, look, someone's got to make a move. I guess I'm going to do it. In he goes, takes a leg, takes a bullet in the face as well, and Shush the late man in. Yeah, just not a chance. I'd argue with it being that late on and such a slim game plan, you just go for the save, to be honest.
This is starting to really get out of control because Complexity even had a lead at one point, didn't they, Scriv? They were up 4-3. They were able to get 4 T rounds in a row. And now it's just been round after round after round for Heroic. 6 on the trot from them. Not many bomb plans going down to the T's at all. And it's just the amount of AKs being saved in. The buy for Heroic, you think it's the T side buy. 3 AKs, double orbs, and complexity if they're having some base.
Well, they are indeed going to pick it up and try and go for the rush-in. Not going to work. The flashes are a little dodgy on both sides, but it will be that first kill for Heroic. Of course, looking for a little bit more as they've got quite the line of defense in. 8 kill and an AK in the hands of Shush is perfect. Yeah, and just, they try and go for the angry one, and it doesn't work. And listen, man, I very nearly hate being right, but not quite, of course. You know, it's a nice feeling, even if it is at the behest of complexity. Like I said, that speedy one-track style of play that they're going for at the moment, super aggressive. It worked initially, but keeping it up is very difficult. When the adaptation comes in, you don't have a lot left in the strap book, as it were. What do we go back towards? And that certainly seems to be the case here. As Heroic, once they've cracked it, they've looked unstoppable. And somehow, Tessus has ended up behind him. How did he get there? Oh,
I don't know.
Goodness.
I don't know, mate.
Actually crazy. Got there so fast.
It must have been just a flash and working behind the smoke. Something like that. He even works through the smoke onto coldzera. And JKS and S-Attack are now the only couple left.
S-Attack blind as a bat will get taken down. Just JKS. 11-4. Absolutely inevitable here, and it will indeed come through. You know what we say, but Heroic, of course, have looked so damn good in these final few rounds of the first half. We'll see if they can keep it up. Catch you in a few. Initially, not looking bad. Complexity, they had a good few rounds to open up with, kept it close, kept it competitive, but it fell off, and they couldn't pick it back up. We'll see whether a fresh half is indeed the change that they need. I just have the right stance here as well, Doug.
Yeah, Cold Zero just trying to poke for information. They've got a decent read on A. I like the setup in for Complexity, and for Heroic, they might just bomb rush into A and just get the post plant in.
Yeah, indeed. Try and go for it. Try and overwhelm. The Molotov will come in. Poison going to stick around and try and take the fight. He's good for one. It's also the information that he captures, the opportunity that he presents to his teammates. They don't quite get the kills that they were after. Going in for another flash. Blame F, the in-game leader, looking to take the round on his back. But it keeps coming back to an even scenario. 2 versus 2. And Heroic, they're going to dip out, go for a different avenue of attack.
Well, they've got so much time to work with, so they can start playing the mind games. They're going to fake away like they're going to be. They've still got a smoke for Cadian, so you can try and see if you can draw the rotates that way. These are splitting up ever so slightly. It's not normally how we see sort of 2v2 situations being played. I guess if they've got information gathered on A and information gathered on B, then they can try and see if they can just fight individually.
Yeah, I guess it's an interesting approach. AMF spotting one, and that, you know, might call the rotation back. And it does. Okay. Starting to get on board, but of course, as there's no follow-up action, JKS begins to rotate back. Sat in and around the middle. Still got a lot of utility here, by the way. Got to go planting the bomb. Oh, and it comes. There it is. Shush will catch him, you know, as he's investigating. No info, no sounds. What's going on? I don't quite know, and he will get caught. Right-click nade going in. That's some decent damage, to be fair, but Shush closes the gap. What a game he's having. Him and Tessus, oh my goodness, absolutely unstoppable. However, Heroic finding the pistol, that might just be the beginning of the end here for Cole.
It's so unfortunate for JKS, because it almost seems like he's got the read, doesn't he? He's moved back out from mid, he's looking from construction, or the scaffolding angle. The thing that gets me, right, is how aggressive he is. He's the nade player. He's got a smoke, a flash, an HE. He doesn't get to use any of it before he goes down. Rather than being defensive and playing retake to use those nades forward, could have naded one of the low HP players down low. Stound taking some early nade damage out from the B stairs. Heroic up to 12. And I feel like I almost jinxed it, because I think really early on I said, oh, this is starting off really competitive, other than just the one-sided scorelines. And now look at what's presented itself.
Yeah, you know, that's how it goes, mate. You got to get a bit of a caster's curse in at some point across the course of the day. Hopefully nothing too large for the teams, but yeah. I think it, to me, felt like it was a little bit inevitable. Heroic at the moment had just, you know, more sound in the way that they approach things. The flow charts that we kind of talk about are in place, and they look pretty comfortable, and they don't have to do too much outward conversation about, okay, this is how the round's going, this is what we're going to do. They can just be, you know, go B, and it's like, right, I know what I've got to do when we do this. You know, the losing round go B tactic. I know exactly what my play is. Whereas Complexity, I think comms-wise, there's going to be a lot more going on, and the hectic nature of it is very difficult. And ultimately, especially on that T side, they were just looking for an individual or a group of individuals to win the rounds for them, and it just doesn't happen. They're already going to roll over that easily. And now, moving forward, I would argue Complexity, at least with their ceiling, have the better individuals in places, but they just can't activate them, because Heroic, that team play aspect, is devastating right now.
Yeah, Tessus and Shush are doing the heavy lifting, and then you've got the supportive elements. Starn, just backstabbing, cutting off rotates, lurking out in mid, Cadian with the calling, and then Refresh just chipping in here or there. Everything is just so well drilled for Heroic, so well set. And Complexity, damn, this is really disappointing, because this is a game that, for a portion of time, the A stream wanted. And it's been put here on B, and there is a lot of importance behind it, right? Like, both teams have still got the opportunity of getting into some awkward situations, still trying to make the major. And we're going into the last game day of group stage, 2 tier 1 teams as the second last game on the B stream, and it's 13-4. It's just not living up to what it could be.
Yeah, it's very true. It is very true. It seems like, you know, the heebie-jeebies of the A stream kind of well-founded.
They were like, hang on a minute, hang on.
Yeah, wait a minute. Altair has woken up with a, dodgy eye or something. They've got some information. I don't know. Not true, by the way, for anyone. There's always conspiracy theorists. That's just completely not true. Got to cover my bases in that sense. But yeah, not looking good, right? And they have very little to rely on, very little fallback, let's say, once we get into this rifle round. Contacting out towards B, they spot that there's nobody here. It was the A stack. Complexity, unfortunately, guessed wrong.
And for Heroic, the way they need it to go down is for them to beat Complexity, which is looking quite likely. Movistar Riders beating Endpoint, which I believe is going quite well for Movistar. And Australian Quicksilver. Now, if that happens, we go to the OT decider matches held for 2nd to 4th place, and then they need to get out of that, of the deciders, and try and make their way forward. Try and see if they get into the major. Shush, trying to get into the action with the money, right? 3 kills with the Mac 10, farming. Don't know how important money really is when you're 14 or 4 up. It's an extra Brucey bonus, though.
Yeah, I mean, can be decent, to be fair. And it feels good. It feels good. I mean, the Mac 10, always satisfying to pick up kills. You get 3 of them. You're flying. You're absolutely flying.
Do you think, Scriv, that the CIS teams in the RMR, they use the Mac 10s like lasers? Not so much as the European teams. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, interesting. Very interesting, to be fair. I think maybe the logic on where it fits in is a bit different. But speaking of fitting in, Douche is not going to be able to do so on the B-bomb site, going for a quick aggressive play. Checking the body checking the Complexity players here. Not going to work, though.
Yes, down, desperate for a pick back, just a way in, an overextension, a jiggle out from mid, anything that will be able to bring it back into a 4v4. And Heroic haven't often been in these kind of positions where they've lost the opening fight.
True. Very, very true. So we'll see what kind of contingency plans they've got. Molotov to deal with the sandbags player here. They don't want to use it. Down will take out Cold. In comes the late peek from CSGO. Nearly the double. Not quite. 3 versus 3 regained here for Heroic.
And normally when you don't molly out the sandbags and there's someone there, you expect a multi-frag. So for CSGO, could be disappointed knowing that he only gets 1. Yeah, he does a lot of damage onto refresh. 40 seconds on the clock, and they're going to start bringing that bomb back over to the mid position by the looks of it. There's going to be that 1 defender on B and 1 from Poison to watch out in mid.
Very slow moving. Hoping to catch someone off. Oh, and they do. Poison looking the wrong way. Now the burst will begin. There is still another player in the form of JKS. He's a bit low, and he's not quite sure how he can defend here, but the crack angle round the corner, fadeaway headshots, and he finds all 3. There he is. Of course, JKS coming into this team, it was a little up and down, to say the least, but that is a hell of a round.
Yeah, that is a class performance coming through from JKS as the B holder. Just the anchor, getting away with so much success, wasting time, allowing BlameF to rotate into mid. That doesn't even really get required. He just does it all by himself. Poison gets absolutely deleted looking up to that mid portion, and JKS, he recovers it from Complexity. That's an important round to win.
Through the smoke, going to find Tessus here, so it does feel like Complexity getting a little bit of luck on their side. They are somewhat revitalized. That comes over towards ramp, of course. Set up and ready. Shoosh. Playing with fire a little bit. Going to eat a nade. Damage. Nice. Molotov comes in as well. Follow-up spray. It's great ideas from JKS. Unfortunately, not able to find the kill. Refresh on the other side of things. He'll find a return frag into the 4-on-4, but the HP advantage firmly with Complexity.
And that's got to be the frustrating element, is that JKS does so much damage out to B stairs, and they lose the fight on A. They lose the advantage elsewhere on the map. So all that hard work just doesn't really pay off. CSGO getting forced forward as a bait, trying to see if he can find into some contact, gets punished. That's Refresh being able to pick one up now.
look really good. Make every round look doable. Ooh, just the one for Poison. Might not be enough. Cold is here quickly. Trying to flash his way through and go for the hero play. Finds himself in between the smokes. However, with only 30 seconds left, they're going B, Dwayne.
Ooh,
Or are they?
are they? Yeah, are they? They're going to try and fake out the sound cues. Cold Zero's still holding at this A side. Oh, he starts pulling away. Oh, what a read this is for Heroic. What a fake this is.
They've got to know their timings to perfection, right? You know, and you know how it goes. They'll walk back in. They've only got a few more seconds to work with. Cold Zero. That's the game plan. Not going to go crazy aggressive to try and deny the bomb plant away. And he can't spot the head either. Unfortunate on the timing. Very unfortunate on the timing indeed. Cadian will take him down. And now just JKS against 3. Little harder to get the triple when you've got to move into them. And of course, Cadian takes him down. There is match point. 15-5.
And me personally, Scriver, I'm normally someone that really enjoys simplicity when it comes to Counter-Strike. You know, the basics done right.
Yes.
Right there, though, my goodness, that does put a smile on my face. When you see the tactical depth in a fake and drawing the rotates, baiting out Cold Zero, even if it's ever so slightly. It's him going from a passive angle to ladder to now the other side of the smoke. His teammate's still on rotation. It's going to take time to get back in. And Complexity, they just get pulled for a fool in that round. Heroic up to 15. Great post plant from them. They do at least answer for Complexity with an opening kill at the B stairs.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, you've got 10 in a row to go. You could have a nice couple of rounds here. And again, as we talked about, all about the learning process. Feels good. But the game itself feeling like it might just be out of the question. So we'll see. We'll see. We've got to trade back in towards middle as well. So maybe even this round, you know, not going to look good. And we've seen Heroic bring it close when there's low numbers, win it when they lose the first pick. So, see whether they can do it again.
Imagine being Peacemaker as well, man. He's the guy that's just been signed as their coach only, what, a couple of months ago. And the first opportunity they've really got of coming to LAN other than Cologne is just one that they get away with one win. And that's all they get in the group stage. Esses does get caught off out to ramp. So that's at least the lurk being achieved and knowing where the information is.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one, I think, because you have, you know, it's probably the worst side of playing best of ones is this Complexity side. You've only got a few maps that you're probably going to be confident in. That's nasty from Refresh as well, able to find JKS. Distractionary spray is there on the other side. Either way, 3 versus 3, based on one, trying to force some steps here, but it's not quite going to come yet from Complexity. 3 on 3 to save the game. We do have a kit. We've got the 1 AK and it's in the hands of the 12 HP player. Another fake out coming in. Cadian through the smoke. That's what he was waiting for. Cold Zero with damage, but no kills. Keeps finding the damage, but no kills. The creep from the right will take him down, and Refresh gets the double to finish it off. 16-5. Not very pretty at all.